Good evening again. Everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Honorable Councilmember Carrie Budzinski. Welcome to the July 27th, 2026 study session of the Livonia City Council. This meeting sets the agenda for the 2046 regular meeting, which is a voting meeting that will take place on Monday, August 17th, 2026, where tonight's items will be officially voted on. We are just missing Mr. McCullough tonight. We're going to jump right into audience communication for anything that is not on the agenda. We have set aside a half hour. You will have 3 minutes. Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
Steve Kane, Coventry Gardens. I want to tell you the story of a little boy whose dream was to become a firefighter. He spent his childhood watching fire engines race by with lights flashing. He imagined climbing ladders, breaking through smoke, rescuing people, and battling towering flames. Years passed. He trained hard, earned his badge, and finally became what he had dreamed of since he was a child. Then reality set in. Instead of fighting fires, he found himself responding to medical calls. Chest pains, falls, difficulty breathing, welfare checks, lift-a-sits, one ambulance run after another. Days, weeks, months would pass without a structure fire. It wasn't because he had chosen the wrong career. Society had changed. Modern building codes, safer electrical systems, smoke detectors, sprinkler systems, and fire-resistant building materials have transformed the landscape of fire protection. America has gotten safer. Since 1980, reported home structure fires have fallen by more than 60%, while the rate of home fires per person has fallen by roughly 2/3. In many ways, the fire service model still resembles the past, built around the era when horse-drawn wagons raced to burning buildings. The equipment is newer, the technology is better, and the training is more advanced, but the basic structure has changed very little. The emergencies we face today are different. The majority of calls are medical, not fires. Yet many communities continue to organize and fund emergency response around yesterday's challenges instead of today's needs. Some people will hear these words and immediately label me anti-firefighter. They're wrong. I have friends and family members who are firefighters. This isn't about firefighting. They don't decide the budget. They don't write staffing models, don't determine public policy. They answer calls and do the job. This is about politicians and administrators responsible for spending taxpayer dollars wisely and asking if we are examining every penny spent is not anti-firefighter. It's pro-taxpayer. If we are afraid to ask questions, then we are no longer managing government. We are simply protecting the status quo. This city is very good at that. Protecting the status quo is not leadership. It's standing still while everyone else moves forward. We owe the community more than that. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Christopher Martin, a resident of the great state of Michigan. I want to just go back in time here to the last meeting. This was on the consent agenda number 10. Request to approve cable franchise agreement between the city of Livonia and Comcast for a period of 10 years from this date. So whether it be Comcast or any other cable TV channel, cable is not run, not overseen by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. That's why free speech, you can say anything here. Anything. Okay? And so some people need to look that up. All right? And I'm not going to be disrespectful and use all the language that I learned in factories and other occasions. Okay? But you can say anything here. Anything. So it's something you should look up. Also, it was brought up about scooters or e-bikes on sidewalks, okay? I'm not an attorney. You don't need to be an attorney to look up stuff. That's one of the greatest bluffs that an attorney will use, that they're an attorney and you're not. Anybody can look up stuff. But at one time, and I think it's still in existence, you can't even ride a pedal bike on the sidewalk. But I would encourage all of you, attorneys or not, to go ahead and look that up. Because it's just not an e-bike, it's just not a scooter. There are some cities that are banning them. You got to get off and walk through the downtown areas of certain cities so you don't run over some person, because those things can go quite fast. And last thing I do is need somebody to come up behind me and run me over. Also, when I was walking in Rotary Park on that bike path, I had a guy come from the side of me on a pedal bike with the uniform of a Lance Armstrong on him, and he had to be doing probably at least 25. Scared the heck out of me. So anyway, I don't know what the guidelines are for the walking paths over at Rotary, the asphalt ones over there, okay, if bikes are allowed on that or not. But I will look it up when I get home, or at the library, I should say. But at one point in time, bikes were not allowed on sidewalks, and I think that law is still in existence, okay? So anyway, just want to touch on that briefly.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
Frank McDermott, Rayburn Street, City of Livonia, Third World, City of Livonia. At the council meeting, I spoke about Mr. King and his trespassing charge and how the district court considered the charge so minor, misdemeanor charge, that there was only a $50 fine, while the Recreation Commission considered it so serious that he's banned for life from using the Senior Wellness Center and the Recreation Center. Now, I may be a misjudge of character, but I find it hard to believe that any of the members of the City Council think that justice is being served by the Recreation Commission banning Mr. Steve King for life from the Senior Wellness Center and the Recreation Department for trespassing, while at the same time, the Honorable Jim Jolly of the 16th District Court considered this misdemeanor charge of trespassing so minor that he only fined Mr. King $50. Here again, we think, City of Livonia Recreation Commission, banned for life. 16th District Court, $50 fine. I'm asking the council to put it on the agenda and vote on it. Vote to rescind the ban or not to rescind the ban. I think you owe Mr. King that. Or if you can't handle it, if it's possible, send it back to the Recreation Commission. They're the one that put the ban in place in the first place. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
Greg Ralco, Golfridge Villa. I want to respond to what Martha said after I spoke earlier. I didn't misspeak. 5-2 was against the rezoning from a Zone 1 to a Zone 2 on the 8 Mile and Newburgh corner. The second one was the 4-3 site plan vote that was approved by the City Council. On the site plan vote, and you can read the transcript, both Martha and Rob Donovic both spoke and said that they had to vote yes for the site plan because if they hadn't, they were fearful of a lawsuit being filed by Sheets. Okay? So essentially, they said that they were voting under duress, which really, when you step back and look at it, why vote? Okay? It means to me, what it clearly says is that when the Planning Commission approves a site plan, there's no reason for you to vote because you're always fearing a lawsuit. It doesn't make any sense. And so I wanted to set the record straight. That's what Martha and both Rob Donovic and Martha had both said, that they were voting yes, essentially under duress, when in fact that they were part of the 5-2 vote against rezoning that corner. And I go back to my original request, and once again, after I spoke or after audience communication, nobody on the city council, particularly the 5 that still are against that corner being a gas station, asked Mr. Goldstein, who was it that instructed the legal department to respond in a rigorous way to the 2 appeals that were filed by the citizens. Okay? Was it the mayor's office? And this isn't legal, this isn't client privilege either, because I know that's what he'll probably say. It's between department conversation, which is something that's open to all, and we should know who's behind it. Was it members of the old city council? Ironically, after they would have voted no to the site plan or to the rezoning, or was it the mayor's office? After this body had a veto-proof 5-2 against rezoning that corner. Okay, so it's an end around if it came from the mayor's office. You should want to know, because this body said no, 5-2 no. And we want to know for sure.
Thank you. Any other audience? Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
John Pastor, 33461 Capri Court. Just want to remind everybody about the millage that's coming up for the police and fire millage to make sure that they vote for it. Also, I am against the millage for the smart bus system. I do not think we will get the value out of it for our residents. I love Kim Schneider very dearly. It is not going to do anything to improve your life. Their smart is not going to come to your house and pick you up after 6 o'clock and take you out and do whatever you so choose. They haven't done it yet. They have proven that they can't hold up their budget. They're $70-some million in the hole for their retirement fund. It's just not a good value for not only the residents of Livonia, but for Wayne County. Let's make sure that SMART gets their act and their budgeting and all that stuff fixed first, before we then start expanding the service that they can't provide as they are right now. And secondly, Mr. King knew exactly what he was doing. He's had several attempts with the department. He knew exactly what was going on. When he went through the gate, he opened the gate. He says he's a builder. He should know better. Oh, wait a minute. He's not a builder because he's not a licensed builder. He says he's built homes. So maybe we should check on that. But in any case, I think the department has done what they had to do, what was right. So I'm fully in support of the Park and Rec Commission banning him. It's not the first time, second time, third time. He's had a lot of altercations with the city. So he's only done it to himself. And then the good old Sheets guy, God love him. Maybe we should find out who's funding him. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the gasoline guys that are funding his fight and all that stuff. Really, to sit there and say the mayor and everybody's colluding is ridiculous on that. Do you know that? The mayor, I don't think, really cares if there's a gas station, whatever it's there. I knew one thing. It's somebody's property. And if it was his property and somebody told him that it should be a park, he'd be going nuts. It's his property, or if it was his property. But maybe, again, like I said before, maybe we should take his land, zone it a park, and let him donate his house, his property, to make it a park. Because that's what he's asking somebody else to do. I think that's unfair of him. I love his energy. I like him keep coming up here and stuff. But it's over. Hopefully we do get something redeveloped there soon. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address,
Hi,
please. You
Laura
have 3
Shoemaker.
minutes.
Hi, Laura Shoemaker. I didn't think that coming up here was to ridicule other people that have the guts to get up here and speak. And
You're only cutting into her time.
you know, we have a right to be up here. We have a right to ask questions. We're citizens. We're taxpayers. We have every right to come up here and ask hard questions from everybody here. We put you here. I voted for Kaylee. I voted for Robin. I voted for Eileen. And I voted for Patrick. And I'm counting on you guys to do the right thing. Some people may not think it's the right thing to get up here and state how we feel about things, and that's okay. Those people are entitled to their opinions. But to get up here and ridicule someone for having the guts to get up here and ask questions, I think is wrong. And I don't think that that's the forum that we want here. We want to be able to get up, speak our mind, but we shouldn't get in our car and drive up here because you don't like what you heard at the previous meeting and you want to talk poorly about somebody. I don't agree with everything, but I'm not going to sit up here and talk badly about somebody else. I listen to them. I listen to their concerns, as I think you do too. And I think that's wrong, and I think that I'm not sure, Kaylee, President Reed, how you would handle that. If there's anything that you can do, or perhaps frown upon that, but I think it's wrong. And I don't think that this is what we should be doing up here at all. And I support Greg Relko and what he said. And some people are not affected by that. Some people are not affected by the principle of what happened to that. And I do want answers, as I said earlier in the meeting, and I have a minute left. But is that a question that, through the chair, that Mr. Goldstein can answer this evening? Somebody, the legal department don't act without somebody telling them to do so. Is anybody willing to ask that question? No? Okay, that'll make a difference on how I vote in the future. But thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Barbara Glover, and I live in Livonia. Just wanted to make a couple comments. I think that if Steve King has been acquitted, all charges dropped, I don't see why he can't have his rights restored to go to the senior center and the rec center, which he's paying for as a taxpayer. If you don't want to let him go, then maybe you could let him not have to pay taxes for those 2 buildings. I wouldn't want to be barred from going there myself and then be required to support them through my taxes. That doesn't really seem fair. I don't want to spend the whole time talking about that, but that was just sort of something that was on my mind. I think that, it is hard to come up here and, ask questions. A lot of us aren't professional speakers. We're not used to doing this. And so it does take guts to come up here. And when people attack other people up here, I think that's very, very wrong. It's rude. It's unprofessional. That's not what it's about. If you have a difference of opinion with somebody, that's fine, but you don't have to personally do personal attacks to them, whether you're an audience member or whatever. So nobody wants to hear that. I did want to briefly mention we've talked about the ADA bathrooms in, the libraries and things like that, but nobody ever mentions that we need one in this building. And it doesn't seem to be any plans to put one in here, but there's a lot of people that would like to come to these meetings that can't because they can't use the bathroom. And I've had a lot of medical problems myself. I'm not in a wheelchair, but I do have a colostomy bag, and that is sort of considered a disability. It doesn't affect me using the current bathroom, but I know what it's like to have a disability, and it's not fair to have to give up part of your life and things you want to do just because you maybe got a disease or, you got into a car accident or something. So I just think we should try to abide by the law. The ADA law was passed back in the early 90s, and we've had plenty of time to retrofit this building. So just keep that in mind. Maybe that's something you could think about.
Thank you. Any other audience communication? All right, moving on to council. We have new data for item number 1. There was a date change from the first petition to the current one. Anything from council? Ms. Persconi?
Thank you. I did just want to, in the break in between the regular and the study, I was stopped by a resident who asked me to express something on her behalf, and it's actually it's something that I was thrilled to hear. Kim Snyder, who spoke earlier at the meeting, had to go, but she specifically wanted me to announce that she's so pleased with the temporary ramp that has been installed in the building. as a volunteer for the elections. She's been coming to this building, she said, for years. And she said she's never been able to come and volunteer in this building with such ease as she has with the new temporary ramp. And I just thought that I was wonderful, obviously, to hear it, but she specifically said she wished she could have stayed, and she wanted to say that, but to relay the message. So I just wanted to relay that message on behalf of Kim, and I'm really glad to hear that that ramp is, in fact, more conducive than she specifically said. It was much easier to maneuver than the existing ramp that was there.
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know at the end of the last meeting, it was brought up that there was a red flag with our federal cash management. Actually, we did follow all federal guidelines. There was in no way did we not. What we didn't have in place was an actual written policy, and guidelines just require the city to have a written policy. It did not exist during the audit period. But our finance director, and I double checked with him, he has written the policy as a corrective action. We are still part of best practices. This is, of course, going to be in place going forward. And it was noted in the audit report that we are responsible, official, and corrective action plan took care of that. So that's why there was that small finding, but we actually did follow all federal guidelines. So we were in no way out of compliance there. So I just wanted to set the record straight. A resident just now brought up that things have changed from firefighting. Modern firefighting looks a lot different, and that it's more medical runs. And I 100% agree with that. That's why it was so important in our last LFD contract that all members are paramedics. Or if they are new trainees, they have a set amount of time to become a paramedic. They go through that training, and they cannot ride without a paramedic with them. So that is, in a way, something that is unique, actually, to Livonia. Not all communities surrounding here have a paramedic staff like we do. So they have changed with the times with these medical runs. So I just wanted to throw that in. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anything? Mr. Brockway?
Through the chair, Mr. Goldstein, we have a few residents ask a question tonight about when it comes to court cases, are you in a position to answer the question of who, so to speak, pulls the trigger on having the city defend itself?
If somebody challenges a decision of the city, whether it's the city council, whether it's the zoning board, whether it's any board or public body that makes a decision, if somebody challenges that in court, the law department defends that decision. Nobody directs us to, nobody directs us not to. We defend the city when it's sued, period.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Brockway?
That's it.
Ms. McDonald, anything? Ms. Bazinski, did you have anything? No. All right, let's jump right in. Starting with external requests. Item number 1, this is a block party request from Karen Worden to be held Saturday, August 29th, 2026 from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Flamingo Boulevard between St. Martin's and Breton Streets with the rain date of Sunday, August 30th, 2026. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Good evening. Karen Worden, 19651 Flamingo Boulevard.
Do you want to tell us about your party?
This is going to be our 20th annual. We did have to miss a couple of years in there for COVID and so forth. But yeah, we just bring our neighborhood together and have a barbecue and live music and karaoke and games and just get together and enjoy a summer evening and enjoy our neighborhood.
Nice, thank you. Council, Ms. Persconi?
I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent.
Council, any comments? Any comments from the audience? All right, this will be on the consent agenda on August 17th, 2026. Thank you for coming out.
I would just like to make a kudo to the city clerk's office. I had to make a last-minute change in the original date. I did it about last Wednesday, and it got fixed very quickly for this meeting tonight. So I appreciate the efficiency in the clerk's office. So,
thank you.
All right, thank
Have
you.
a good night. Item number 2, another block party request. This comes from Karen Shader to be held Saturday, September 12th, 2026 from noon to 10 p.m. on Sussex Street between Sherwood and Fitzgerald Streets with the rain date of Sunday, September 13th, 2026. Is the petitioner here tonight? Okay, council?
As a matter of consistency, can we put it on the regular?
Okay.
Number 9.
Okay. Any comments from the audience on this one? All right, item number 2 will be on the regular agenda on August 17th, 2026.
I'm sorry.
Ms. McDonald?
Can we have somebody reach out to the petitioner to make sure that they are aware that they need to be here next meeting?
Yep.
Alrighty, great. Thank you.
Yep. Item number 3, request to waive the sidewalk requirement. This comes from Gasper Campo of TCM Development, LLC, for the property located at 37633 Scone Court. Good evening, sir. Name and address, please.
How you doing?
Mr. Zlinczyk, do you
Madam
want to
President,
jump? Yep.
City Council members.
Sure.
We're just responding back to Gasper Campo's letter from TCM regarding July 7th of sidewalk waiver. We provided you with the information that we have no issue with the sidewalk waiver request that he's requesting for that development. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything?
I just introduced myself, Gasper with TCM Development. I don't know if you guys got an aerial or not of it, but that whole west side of the street there has no sidewalk, and the sidewalk would go to nothing. I don't have a problem putting it in, but I just don't see, I guess, why you would. You know what I mean? So.
Thank you. Council?
Madam Chair,
Ms. Tashnik?
it would almost be silly to have him put a sidewalk here when there's no sidewalks on any other house on this side of that street. So to be consistent with the neighborhood, I think this is an appropriate request. So I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent with this one.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from council? Comments from the audience? All right, this will be on the consent agenda on August 17th, 2026.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Item number 4, this is another request to waive the sidewalk requirement for Bilal Saad for the property located at 27416 Sunnydale. Mr. Zlinczyk?
Madam President, again, we received the letter dated July 13th, 2026 to the city clerk's office where they pay a $250 fee for a sidewalk waiver request. We looked at the information and there's no sidewalks in the area. We would recommend that they waive the sidewalk for this location. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything, sir?
It's Joita Eccles. No, he does a great job. I don't like the talk after him.
Okay, same. Council?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Tashnik?
For the same reasons as the previous item, I'll offer an approving on consent.
Okay, any more comments from council? Comments from the audience? All right, this will be on the consent agenda on August 17th, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, this is a request to waive the sidewalk requirement from Joe Ida of American Building Co. for the property located at 18252 Lathers.
Again, same, I think that was for Joe. The one he just came quoting was for item number 5.
Oh, did I say something wrong?
No. Number 4 was from Balil Sadad. So, this one right here, item number 5 was from Joe Ida, dated July 13, 2026. Again, or July, let's see, just double check. July.
You're just really excited.
July 6th. This letter's dated July 6th.
About no
had them all.
sidewalks.
Yeah, 3 of them come at the same time, whatever, but each
Yeah.
request is, he had a letter dated July 8th, for again, not recommending sidewalk at that particular location. We provided the aerial and the information in the packet to city council members. Thank you. He just jumped the gun on item 4.
I'm getting old, so my mind
Yeah.
really old.
Thanks, council. Ms. McDonald?
I'd like to offer approving on consent.
Okay, council, any comments? Comments from the audience? All right, item number 5 will be on the consent agenda on August 17th, 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the Department of Civil Service, item number 6. This is a request to establish a new classification for the position of Capital Planning and Budget Manager. Good evening.
Good evening, council. This is, I am Janine Leibel. I think I might have had whatever Joe had for lunch. I also did not mean to say that. I'm going to start all over. Hi, I'm Janine Leibel on behalf of Civil Service. I have with me Benjamin Greer, our Director of Finance, and we are here to request that we are allowed to establish a new job classification. Excuse me. And through Benjamin's restructuring of his department, he found some positions, restructuring of his department positions. He's been able to capture some efficiencies, and we would like to create the position of capital planning and budget manager. This person, in this position, they would have already had some familiarity with our budget, and then they can take the capital planning portion of it, make sure that we are appropriately setting aside those funds and keeping the budget in line with the city's goals.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything, Mr. Greer?
Other than Benjamin Greer, Finance Director, other than that the person doing the budget is in the best position and has experience with the capital planning requirements that are needed to get in the current budget. And we don't have a good way of doing that right now. So that is another reason for the change.
Okay, thank you. Council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. So this person will not have the position of overseeing the actual capital improvements themselves. They're just going to be tracking the money.
Yes, the person that would be in charge of actually putting forth the projects and coordinating and putting the projects into existence operates out of DPW.
Okay. So then they are, just so I'm clear, so they are going to just make sure that all the funds are being appropriated?
Yes, they're going to make sure that the funds are appropriated, that the funding sources are both, God willing, plentiful and appropriate, and make sure that the items that we want, or the improvements that we want to do, are budgeted for over the course of, 1 year or many years, as it may be.
Okay, and one other question. So they're going to be actually keeping track of, if, let's say the bid comes in or the proposal is approved at 10,000, they're going to make sure that it's at 10,000, not 20,000. So they're going to make sure that the funding and the expenses are in line with what's approved?
Go ahead, Ben.
In conjunction with the procurement function, so in conjunction with the purchasing manager, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any
Thank
other-
you.
Mr. Brockway?
Through the chair, was it a year ago or 2 years ago that the city created a position for infrastructure related to the infrastructure as an infrastructure or capital manager?
Yes, that's correct. We initially had a director of capital improvement we were considering as in advance of possibly the millage going forth last summer. When that didn't happen, the mayor declined to fill that position because it was an appointment. And then we created a capital planning manager. That position, we worked to fill the DPW position first. That way we had someone that could actually put those plans into action. And then to fill this position, we had some turnover in our finance department. In anticipation of our new finance director, we had put that to the side. He had a different idea for this position, and in working with his team, saw a way that they could bridge that gap, as well, fill this position and improve and expand upon it.
So is the position for infrastructure management itself, is that still out there to be filled, or is this replacing that?
That's a great question. This is replacing that. So the DPW position has been filled, and then this position is in place and in lieu of the other two positions will not be filled.
So the DPW position, you said that was the capital improvement manager, or what position is in charge of actually facilitating the capital improvement?
I think it's called
Building maintenance, facilities maintenance manager. I'm so sorry, I didn't want to screw that up.
Okay, so this is going to be, they're going to be working with this potential position.
Yes.
Now, was the original position that was allocated to the budget, was that going to cover kind of both of the tasks that are being talked about? Because the infrastructure, now we're talking about budget and capital.
No, we currently have a budget manager, a budget and fiscal services manager. In the course of her job, she has noticed that this was something, because she's literally taking everyone's feedback and putting it together. She gets to see all of the finer details. She gets to see all of the trees, and then she also gets to see the forest. So I don't know if that was my best metaphor, but hopefully she can make sure that the planning, the fiscal planning is in the right spot.
Okay. And just in case I missed it, so do we have someone in place that can handle the capital infrastructure and start planning that out right now, in addition to this potential position?
I'm sorry, I think I don't understand your question, and that's my fault.
I think are you referring to the facilities manager?
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
that has been hired.
Yes, that position has been filled.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that's in place, because otherwise, what would be the
This
point?
person would have a lot of money to budget for, but nothing to do with it. No, that position has been filled.
Okay, no further questions right now.
Anything down here? Ms. Persicone?
And just to follow up on that, so basically those two positions are working in tandem to act as what the original kind of idea was from the original position of 2 years ago?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Pazinski?
Yeah, and just to kind of continue on that general line, I don't know if either of you would be able to address this. In a letter that we received from the mayor on Friday, it notes that the administration is assembling an internal committee to work on an asset management and capital improvement strategy. And it lists some participants in that. And seeing some of the participants in that, it does include the budget and fiscal service manager position that currently exists. It does not include the facilities manager position, however. And so, one, I was wondering if that individual would be part of that committee, if the administration has a timeline for when that committee would meet, or if they've already met, and if there's an intention to issue a report to council about findings, in terms of, what the strategy, direction, and capital available to address those concerns are.
So I don't have an answer to those questions, but I will refer that to the mayor's office that we can follow up with you.
Okay, thank you.
Council, can we get some direction on this one? Council?
I'd like to offer an approving, denial, and committee of the whole. You can do all three there
For
this position.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
cover all the basics, 'cause, well, we get the answer to the question that was just asked there.
Okay.
Is there a problem with that, or?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay.
Any other comments to add on to that from council? Okay, comments from the audience? Please state your name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Steve King, Coventry Gardens. For the record, Madam Chair, John Pastor talks about me more than my girlfriend does. I think he misses me between meetings.
Mr. King, this item, please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's what you should have done when John was dicing me.
Again, this
Thank
item.
you. Okay, all right. Patrick, you're onto something. We bandied this about. It was a facilities director. The title may have changed, but the underlying question is not. Whenever City Hall struggles to get something done, the solution always seems to be the same. Create another management position instead of demanding better performance from the people already responsible. We simply add another layer of government. We don't have a personnel shortage. We have an accountability shortage. We've seen this pattern before. The city hired a grant writer. Taxpayers were promised. I remember it happened right at that podium. New funding opportunities. What measurable long-term return did residents receive? Zero. We got not one penny in grants. Not one. So that position was supposed to be evaluated. You didn't do it. So then came the government affairs positions. I couldn't explain what that office does and why it's necessary. Now we're talking about capital planning and budget manager. Capital planning is already a management responsibility. Department directors identify their capital needs. The finance department develops the budget. City administrators review priorities. The Department of Public Works manages infrastructure and building projects. And council ultimately approves spending. But what responsibilities are truly missing? If those responsibilities aren't being carried out today, why are we creating another manager instead of holding the existing management team accountable? If our capital planning process needs improvement, improve the process. If departments are coordinating, require them to coordinate. If projects are delayed, expect answers from the managers already responsible. Taxpayers don't need another administrator. They need completed projects, well-maintained facilities, responsible budgeting, and measurable results. The solution isn't another title. The solution is accountability.
Time, sir. Any other comments from the audience?
Mr. President, if I may respond to that, this is not a new and separate position. This is actually taking one position and adding on another responsibility. And the reason why we're here to ask for that is because the two responsibilities, instead of having a capital planning manager and a budget and fiscal services manager, those two positions will be consolidated. So technically it would be saving a position and not creating another one. The other position's already been created. This is consolidating those two positions in order to get those economies and efficiencies.
Thank you. Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Denise Micah, Livonia. I think this should be tabled or put in the committee of the whole until we get all the answers, because what Councilperson Budzinski said about the mayor's letter, that all of a sudden, is it really coordinated? It sounds like it's not flowing properly as was stated previously. once we heard about the mayor's letter, it sounds like this is just putting something out there, and I think it should be studied further. So I'd appreciate if you all could study it further. Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Okay, this will be on the regular agenda for August 17th, 2026. Thank you. Okay, moving on to planning. This is item number 7. It's a waiver petition 2026-06-02-16 submitted by J.B. Donaldson Company requesting waiver use approval to operate a licensed adult foster care facility, adult medium group home, capacity 7 to 12 at 38525 8 Mile Road, located on the south side of 8 Mile Road between Meadowview Street and Hickory Street in the northwest quarter of Section 6. Good evening. Mr. Tormina, did you want to start on this one, or would you like the petitioner?
Please, if I could.
Yep.
So this is a request for an adult foster care facility. This is located on about 1.5 acres. The property is the historic Joshua Simmons house that was constructed in the mid-1800s. It's at 38525 8 Mile Road, which is right at the southwest corner of 8 Mile Road and Meadowview Street. The property is zoned RUF, Rural Urban Farm, but notwithstanding that zoning classification, for roughly the past 35 years, this property has been used for non-residential purposes, including a law office, a veterinary clinic, and most recently a medical office. Under state law, municipalities must treat any state licensed residential facility operating under the Adult Foster Care Licensing Act, provided they have services for 6 or fewer individuals. They have to treat that as a permitted residential use for zoning purposes. And I know this has come up several times before council. So remember, 6 and under is something that we have to recognize as a single family use. The Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, or LARA, is the agency responsible for regulating and licensing adult foster care homes and homes for the aged. There are several different categories of adult foster care facilities. They include adult family homes and adult small group homes, adult medium group homes, adult large group homes, and homes for the aged. And these are all have different rules that apply to them and different capacity requirements, or allowances, I should say. The city presently has 43 homes licensed to provide adult foster care services. All but one of the 43 homes has 6 or fewer residents. So this would be the city's first licensed medium group home, which allows up to somewhere between 7 and 12 residents. There is one large group home, and that's located on Linden, just east of Merriman. The house, the petitioner believes that the house, because of its size, which is over 5,000 square feet, is large enough to accommodate up to 12 residents, which would put it in the medium group home category. Again, anything more than 6 requires waiver use approval under section 6.306, which is the reason this item is before you this evening. The site has a single driveway from Meadowview. I apologize, I can show you what the aerial looks like. This is the aerial photograph showing the property. I think most everyone is familiar with it. It is an historic home. There's a driveway coming in and off of Meadowview Street. There's the parking lot that was used primarily when this was a medical office for years. There are no exterior modifications proposed with this petition, and bear in mind that any changes to the outside of the house or to the site are subject to the review of the Historic Preservation Commission. There's a floor plan that was submitted with the application. It shows a total of 12 bedrooms, each with an individual bathroom. There's a living room, dining room, kitchen, lounge, and offices. Planning Commission did review this at their July 14th meeting and is recommending approval of the petition as submitted. And with that, I will answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions, or would you like to go to the petitioner first?
Petitioner.
Petitioner. Good evening. Name and address, please, and you can add on to anything that Mr. Tormina did.
My name is Joe Hammond. My address is 2428 South Gregory Road, Fowlerville, Michigan, and I'm here representing Brasdow Holdings, the owner of the property.
My name is Simona Surju. I am proposed to run the home. I am a nurse practitioner, and my address is Belleville Road, Lilac Lane and Belleville Road. I I apologize, my voice is gone.
It's okay. Did you want to add anything on to what Mr. Tormina already said?
Yeah, when we met with the planning commission, there were some wrong dimensions in some of the rooms, and the architect corrected those. I did send it in to Jacob this morning, and there were a couple of showers that weren't indicated that they have been indicated now, as well as the rear of the property being identified as a recreation area, which is fenced.
Thank you. Council? Ms. Bazinski?
No, go. You go.
Ms. Bazinski, go ahead.
I didn't really have any additional questions. I did watch the planning commission meeting. I know there was audience members present at that time who spoke. I was going to note that I recognize some in the audience, but I don't see necessarily any of them. I hope that indicates that their concerns were addressed. I think you guys did speak a lot to the ratios, to the visiting hours, of when family members come, how frequently they're there. I think, that this space, having already been used in a light business capacity previously, allows for consistency in traffic from what you've presented. And, we need spaces for people who need care and for families who aren't able to care for loved ones in their own home to have safe, welcoming environments that they can feel safe and confident that their loved one is cared for. I think you presented information that supports that, and I feel that Livonia is a welcoming community for folks when they're in need. So I'd be happy to offer an approving, but I will defer to let other folks talk on the issue or ask additional questions.
Thank you. Ms. Persconi?
Yeah, thank you. I do have some questions. You indicated that you represent a holding company, that's the owner?
It's the owner's name, yes. Aline Brasdow, and his business is Brasdow Holdings. Oh.
Okay.
And he has a home health care business. This would be a second or third small adult foster care. He has two of them that are 6 units or less. And this would be the first one greater than that. And he built a facility in Plymouth that he's leasing, which is a large adult foster care. It's 20 beds.
Okay. Are you aware of any litigation for any reason involving this particular owner?
No, not at all.
Okay. And with respect to the nurse practitioner, is this something that she would live? Would there be someone living there? Would you be living in this facility?
No.
So would there be nurses 24/7 in the facility?
Yes, there's caregivers. State required, any assisted living has to have a 24-hour on staff present to take care of the residents. They are not allowed to be by themselves.
Okay. And with respect to, and I just wanted to clarify this because fencing was discussed at the Planning Commission meeting, and right now there is no fencing at the property.
Sure
In the front. In the back, there's fencing. Is that correct?
Right.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
And nothing would be modified to the exterior of the building whatsoever.
None.
Is it already ADA compliant for wheelchairs? Is there already a wheelchair ramp?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just a little concerned with respect to the fact that it is a historical site. I would personally like to hear, I didn't see anything, and I might have missed it because it was a rather lengthy Planning Commission meeting with respect from anything from the Historical Commission. Does anyone happen to know if anyone from the Historical Commission think?
This item is not, nor is it required to go before the Historical Preservation Commission if there are no changes to the exterior.
Okay, thank you.
Are you all set?
I'm good.
Okay,
yes,
Ms.
thank
Teschnick?
you.
Thank you. Can we go back and talk about the training for the caregivers? I know that you said that you wouldn't be living there, that there'd be caregivers, not necessarily licensed nurses or CNAs.
So for adult foster care homes, you do not have to be CNA certified, but the caregivers do have to be trained. So partly I will do some of the training, but we also have official training modules and classes from Laura specifically that we have to use and train our caregivers every year, along with CPR certification And also I had mentioned that Impart Alliance has partnered with Michigan State University and are offering extensive training for caregivers, and also a network where caregivers can register and providers can access to bridge that gap in staffing, which is kind of an issue across the board in every industry right now. But the training, we use LARA videos and quizzes along with observation from my end as the main provider, are checked at our biannual inspections to make sure that they're compliant, and their organizations are vetted by the state, that the education that we provide and that they are given every year is state compliant. They don't have to be CNA certified, but they do have to have caregiver training that is specifically geared towards adult foster care industry.
Okay, I guess I'm concerned because what I'm hearing is we're going to be there, but it's going to be at the minimum, and that makes me a little nervous. There was some talk at the Planning Commission about the shower rooms, and you were going to answer maybe some more questions on that when you came to council.
I can have him answer.
Sure.
To answer your question about the minimum, we actually are not. Adult foster care homes do not have to be run by medical professionals.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a medical model, so it is assistance with assisted daily living. It's not providing medical care. So a majority of the state foster care homes, whether it's a residential 6-person, 12 or 20, you do not have to be a nurse to run them. Any layperson can have 1 year experience to run them, and then we train. So I personally, as a nurse practitioner, have more training for my staff. Currently, I have a 6-bed residential home that I run right now that is full, and the residents have been there for some of them 4 years. With my staff turnover of being 2 in the last 4 years, the staff have been with me the whole time, just to kind of give you an idea. So we're not bare minimum, we're actually above standard, but just to give you an idea that it's not a nursing home, adult foster care home it's not the medical model.
Okay. But then I also, thank you, I appreciate that. The shower rooms, I know there was some talk about insufficiencies there at the Planning Commission.
Well, we do have 2 showers located in the facility, and they will be handled by her staff.
Okay.
So bringing the patients in and out of the showers, and they are identified on the plan now.
Okay. Trash. Are we going to do commercial dumpsters? Are we going to have cans? How are we going to deal with this?
No, we will use cans. We don't want to add a dumpster enclosure to the property just because of the historical features.
So like weekly pickup at the curb
Yes,
kind of thing?
yes.
I mean, I'm just imagining the amount of trash that you're going to generate. Is that going to be, I mean, how many, just something to think about with the amount of cans you're going to need there. So that gives me a little pause. Commercial kitchen, I know that came up at the Planning Commission
It
as
does
well.
not have to be a commercial kitchen. And even up to 20 people, as long as you don't put commercial appliances in it, you do not need to be licensed through the health department.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, you talked about that we didn't need to go through the Historic Commission if we didn't change anything on the exterior of the building. But at the same time, you need to be ADA compliant, and I would imagine that's definitely comes into play with residents. When I live pretty close to here, so I know the building, I pass it all the time. I noticed that there's really no rail on the front porch. I guess that gave me pause as well. How is that front porch going to be safe for the residents?
It's mainly the entry. They will not be allowed on the front due to the parking lot being right there, and that's a safety hazard.
Okay.
So they would just need to use the ramp to get into the building.
Okay,
That will
so-
not be a place for them to.
So we're not altering
sitting
that
out.
front area
No,
or-
and they won't, that's not a place for them to have any activity or visit. It's just the entrance into the building.
Okay, because I was envisioning that they'd be like in rocking chairs sitting on the front porch, so that was my own envisionment, but of course. What about,
Ideally, if there would be space, but it's so close to the parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
what about the exterior lighting and the light spill? Are you going to have lighting?
They will not be changed. They're small pedestal lights
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
And there's 6 to 8 of them on the entire parking lot. So there is no overhead lighting at all.
So we're going to keep the lighting that's
Yes.
current? Okay, that's where I was going with that. All right, thank you, Madam Chair. I may come back with more.
I have a question. In the Planning Commission, it was mentioned that the fire marshal recommended sprinkler system. Is
And
that-
I was wrong in that particular meeting. Anything over 6 people has to be sprinkled, and we will be.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Mr. Brackway, Ms. McDonald, anything down there from you guys?
I guess to them all.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so did you.
Sorry, and nothing else?
It's okay. No, we're
Okay.
good, we're good.
Ms. Budzinski, were you saying consent or regular?
I'm comfortable with either, but I would defer to you guys and what council feels.
I think I'm more comfortable with regular, just because we also haven't seen what was sent to the planning department today, so I'd be more comfortable with regular, if everyone is fine with that.
Regular is fine with me.
Okay, and then did you want to add anything else?
No.
Okay, any comments from the audience? You have 2 minutes.
Hey, those retention rates are very impressive when you say you only had a few staff members leave. I'm familiar with homes like this. My sister was Down syndrome, so I'm familiar with homes and staffing, and I am just wondering if any of you have checked out her other facilities. I think she operates multiple facilities. I think you're talking as many as...
I just have one.
Just have one other facility?
The owner has buildings that
Oh.
he's built, but he's.
I would
Okay,
think,
but
yeah,
it's
but
through
through the
the
chair, I would suggest you go see how that owner operates, and, I mean, anybody can come up here and say anything they want, but, go check it out. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Jim Big of Livonia, Michigan. I'm the one with most of the comments you were all talking about. I think you should look at the plans, so I think you should put it on the regular. But I also think you really need to look at the plans in detail, because the room sizes have to change in order to fit everything in. So I don't know how you're going to have room for 12 adults in there, up to 12. I mean, I think you're going to have to give up 1 or 2 rooms in order to have a shower facility and everything else, and have the open space for all the adults. I don't know how, in my mind, looking at the space that was there, I don't know how you're going to get there unless you really make some changes, plus how you're going to have the lockup for the drugs and everything for the people. And I don't know where the caretakers are going to be at night, who are working there to make sure that everything's okay for the residents that are there. I'm all for this. I think it's great to have something like this that people who don't need full-time care somewhere, but they can be somewhere, and it's hopefully less expensive, so that adult care is expensive. One thing that did concern me was in the planning meeting, I think the comment was made that people don't have visitors, and I think that's a shame that somebody just gets put away here and doesn't have visitors from family or friends. And I just think that's sad, but that's the way life is today. But I really think that you should hold off on this, really spend some time on the plans, and make sure this is someplace you would want to be as you age if you didn't have any other place to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Denise Micah, Livonia. I really want it on the regular because the people aren't here because they didn't know it was today. Okay, so they will be here at the next meeting, the residents that live nearby. The notice that went out that the ordinance was going to be changed went to the 3 homes that are being built there, not the other homes nearby. So I don't know what the requirement is for that, but one of them is still under construction. I don't know if, I know one person lives in one of the house, one family, because I saw them at the planning commission and they got a fence approved. So also, when I was looking at the plans, only 2 bedrooms were marked handicapped. Okay. Each room, if you haven't looked at the plan, is like 7 by 10, and they have a bathroom. It's not a bathroom, it's a powder room. They have a sink and a toilet, each room. Also, when you look at the new plans, think about when there's the dining area. There's no public restroom anywhere in there. You'd have to go to your room to go to the bathroom. And for a lot of retirement places I've been, you got to have that bathroom right by the dining room. And so there wasn't a place to lock up medication, because even though it's not going to be medical, there's going to be medicine being dispensed there. And I'm not against the development. I just think it needs to be studied more and fine-tuned. So I appreciate you, and somebody can notify some of the neighbors. That would be fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tormina, do you know if the new plans were sent to us? I didn't see them.
This gentleman indicated new plans were sent to one of my staff members who was not in today, so I was not aware of
okay.
that. So we will make sure that the council receives those tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Council, any follow-up questions for the petitioner or Mr. Tormina?
Actually,
Mr. Brackley?
yes, through the chair. So the question was raised where the caretakers are going to be maybe throughout the night while the residents are, asleep or whatnot. Where in there, is there sufficient office space for the amount of caretakers that are going to be on site during the night?
Yes, they have to be, it's a wake staff, so yes. They have to be caring for the residents and rounding on all the residents as well.
Okay. That's it.
Good, okay. All right, so this will be on the regular agenda for August 17th, 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to number 8. This is another waiver petition, 2026-06-02-17, submitted by PEA Group requesting waiver use approval to construct a drive-through restaurant, Culver's, in a 4,675 square foot multi-tenant retail building at 29155 7 Mile Road, located on the south side of 7 Mile Road between Middlebelt Road and Maplewood Street in the northwest quarter of Section 12. Good evening. Mr. Tormina, do you want to kick things off?
Thank you. Again, there's a request to construct a drive-through restaurant at Culver's, as well as a 4,675 square foot multi-tenant retail building. This property consists of 3 parcels located on the south side of 7 Mile, just east of Middlebelt Road. As you can see from the zoning map, all 3 of the highlighted properties are they're shown in red. That's the C2 general business classification, which treats the restaurant, the full-service restaurant, with drive-up as a waiver use. The retail building is treated as a permitted use. So the 3 parcels have a combined land area of about 2.25 acres. Parcel 1 is referenced on the plan as the westerly parcel that has frontage on 7 Mile Road. It contains a building, so this is the old Livonia VFW post 3941, built many years ago. It's been empty. I think if you go by there, it has a Cascades banquet and catering center, but prior to that, it was a karate and judo school, and then the Livonia VFW post. It has been empty for quite a while. Parcel 2 is the easterly parcel with frontage on 7 Mile Road. This contains a parking lot, and then parcel 3 is actually situated to the west and to the south of parcel 1. And that property was developed as a parking lot, overflow parking for the VFW hall back in the 1990s. And then commercial properties really border the site to the east, the north, and to the west. To the south is an apartment complex. The easterly parcel, parcel 2, is where the Culver's restaurant would be located. So just to familiarize with the plan, this is what I was referring to as parcel 2, parcel 1, and then parcel 3. This is where the Culver's would be located on the east side of the property. Again, the existing building is here. That would be demolished. That Culver's is about 4,400 square feet in size. It would have 86 interior seats, 16 outdoor patio seats. There would be a double drive-through operation located on the south side of the building, pickup window on the east side, as well as a bypass lane, which is a requirement of the ordinance. Parking for the restaurant is shown on the west as well as the north side of the building. Moving over to parcel 1, the westerly parcel, that's where the retail building is shown. This building is about 4,600 square feet in size. Dimensionally, it's about 85 feet by 55 feet. It's positioned on the west side of the property. Its setback is about 77 feet from 7 Mile Road, so it's setback slightly further than the Culver's restaurant, which is about 65 feet from the right-of-way. The architecture and the floor layout for the retail building have not been provided, so that is something that would have to go back to the Planning Commission for review. So your consideration tonight is really for the Culver's restaurant, the building pad for the retail, but understanding that there would be another layer of review for the architecture and floor plan for that retail building. Parcel 3 would remain a parking lot, substantially in the same configuration that it's in currently. This development would be served by a single driveway on 7 Mile, which is located between the two commercial buildings. Now, the ordinance requires 2 driveways, but there is a second access available to the site from the adjacent parcel to the west. So Advance Auto, which is the property to the west, there's an ingress and egress, or an ingress, a cross-access easement that's located in the southwest corner of parcel 2. And I'll just point to where that is. So this site here is where the Advance Auto property is located. There's a connection between the driveway on the Advance Audio and this. So it does provide a second means of access to 7 Mile Road. From a parking standpoint, the ordinance requires 101 parking spaces. There's about 15 more than is needed to satisfy the ordinance. The plans do include fully detailed landscaping. The exterior of the building, Planning Commission reviewed a couple of different plans. This was the plan that was brought to them late in their review, which they liked. It is predominantly a cementatious board. It's a hardy board, which is cement fiber siding. There's a stone base around the perimeter of the building. And then again, for the future retail building, we still don't have the plans for that. There is a protective wall that runs along the south side of the property. I'll point out that that wall in areas is less than 5 feet in height. We believe that the plans could be adjusted to provide additional landscaping along the residential side of the property. So that's something that we would like you to consider. The submission also includes a detailed photometric plan. This limits the direction and intensity of lighting as well as the height of the light poles. And then lastly, stormwater runoff would all be handled underground beneath the parking lot. So that would all be part of the infrastructure. The Planning Commission is recommending approval. A couple of conditions. One is that additional sidewalks be provided between 7 Mile Road and the Culver's Restaurant. They'd also like about 50% of the parking in front of the building land banked. So recognizing that there's more than enough parking to accommodate the use, some of the parking along 7 Mile Road they would like to set aside and convert that to landscaping unless there's ever a need for that parking. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you guys want to add anything? Say your name and address, please.
So, Brent Bridgewater, I currently own and operate Culver's in Commerce Township. So, happy and excited to be a part of the Livonia community, especially after all the block parties I heard. So, just looking where I pick up my invites, and I'll bring the custard.
Okay. And I just wanted to add on that we did provide an updated plan to Jacob with incorporating ADA access from 7 Mile to both of the various buildings on the site. And so we've updated that. Regarding the parking along the frontage, Culver's corporate, who reviews all the plans, would most likely not approve the project if all those parking spots were removed, because they are used either for employee parking or for pull around, third-party delivery, and that sort of thing. We'd be happy to add some more landscape along the wall to, add some more green space. But there is a great deal of landscaping that's being proposed.
Thank you. Can you state your name and address, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Leslie Accardo, PA Group. I live in Sterling Heights.
Okay, thank you.
And that front part too, for awareness is, and so we don't create any backup or anything like that. A lot of that front area is used for order waiting as well.
Okay, thank you. I'll start down here this time. Do you have anything, Ms. McDonald? Any questions? Mr. Brockway?
I'd just like to offer an approving on consent for this.
On consent, okay. Any questions down here?
I actually have a couple.
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you. I do like that you upgraded the facade of the building. I noticed that during the planning commission, so thank you for that. I know one of the things is we're trying to get better pedestrian access here, especially with the apartments right there, and fingers crossed, maybe at some point in our lives, the northwest corner over there, we all know the property I'm talking about, will get some mixed use. So I think we need to be aware of that, and I want to make this as pedestrian friendly as possible. And I understand what you're saying about the parking in the front, and I get the whole, I got to wait for my cheese curds. I'll sit there. But is there just any way we can maybe just work something in there a little bit with the pedestrian access? I would love to see that. But other than that, thank you for choosing Livonia. We're excited about this project, and welcome.
Absolutely.
Ms. Persconi, do you have anything?
No.
Ms. Budzinski?
Yeah, I'll kind of piggyback. You're my kid's favorite restaurant. We are there at Culver's most, so I'm well aware of the pullover on the side parking. But I would concur that I think it would be great because, I mean, the reality is, in my Culver's experience, which is ample, you guys are busy all the time, and a lot of people do dine in, which I think, is a unique thing about your restaurant, is that even though it's fast food and people don't dine in quite as much as we used to, the dining room is generally always filled, and because there are apartments, but there's also homes, neighborhoods that residents could, or students even, Clarenceville High School, if they wanted to come, if there was an opportunity to do lined, because you guys do have a little extra parking, a lined pathway at an area so that people could walk to the patio and back. I think that that'd be a nice touch. Also, bike rack, if it's, I can't tell if it's in the plan because it's a detailed plan that we have, but bike racks, again, so that if people, you guys do attract a lot of families, a lot of people generally, to give folks
Sure.
of multiple mobility.
Yeah, we actually did that in Commerce, and Leslie and myself were looking into that to see if we can accommodate.
So those two things I think would just enhance the project and make it easier for people to enjoy.
And can I just add?
Yeah.
So we did provide an updated plan to Jacob in the planning department showing a pedestrian access from 7 Mile Road over to the parking median, and then it goes both to the retail and to the Culvers. So there is access to all those, and I do believe we also have a bike rack.
Thank you.
Do you?
Madam Chair?
Yep, Ms.
Oh,
Tyson?
no, that sounds great, and as soon as we get a chance to look at that, I'm sure we're going to be thrilled. If Mr. Brockway's okay, though, I'd like to put this on the regular so we can take a
Same.
look at that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you know what kind of retail you're planning on in that other building? I know the plans aren't.
Do not at this time.
Okay. And then for that parking lot, I don't know why I'm like, are you going to keep it looking nice? It's really hanging me up that it's like away from you, that.
You talking about the rear one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So,
you're committed to making it stay nice.
I'll just say, just like the building that is sitting there now, it's a little bit of an eyesore.
Yeah.
So for us, plan is to add maybe a little bit more green space. We probably don't need all the parking that's currently there now.
Okay.
So we're going to use a lot of that for employee parking, and we'll add a little bit of grass and some other things that are back there. So intent is to keep that up.
Okay.
Certainly more than it is.
Thank you. Yeah, it
today.
just was like, when I saw the plans, I was like, what? It's like out of sight. So I was like, oh, I hope they're going to keep it nice. Mr. Tremaine, you look like you want to add something.
Yeah, just the planning commission resolution that talks about land banking, the parking along the front, with the exception of what was just mentioned for improving the pedestrian access. I would suggest we take the parallel spaces that run around the rear, land bank those, convert those to parking. There's about 5 or 6 spaces here that would be better served as landscaping, and then work with the petitioner on this southwest property. Taking out a majority of that paving to me would make sense, but that's a cost, and something needs to be done. So I would maybe we'll write the resolution to have them work with us on a plan for that parcel 3.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from council? Ms. Budzinski?
Do you guys have a timeline for this project, or the other building for either or both?
I do not have a timeline for the other building. In terms of the Culvers, I'll just say in general, it takes about 4 to 6 months to put up. As we start gearing towards winter time, I think weather will determine how quickly we can go. If I had to guess, in great weather, we would get done before the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
If we've got some a little bit of inclement weather, and in terms of planning and things like that, probably more likely next spring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. Actually, this is for Mr. Taramino. Can you give a history, or do you know the history before, on that back lot? What happened there, or you don't know?
All I know is that in the early 90s, that was approved by the city to provide additional parking for the VFW hall. So I think it was just an empty lot at the time, vacant parcel that was site plan approved for additional parking back then.
Right.
And it's remained that way ever since.
Almost looks landlocked.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, all right, great, thank you, welcome.
All right, any comments from the audience on this one? You guys shake your head like you're the only ones that are going to get up. You're determined. All right, so item number 8 will be on the regular agenda on August 17th, 2026. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to DPW. Item number 9, this is a award of bid for the replacement of the boiler system at Robert and Janet Bennett Civic Center Library from budgeted funds. Good evening, Mr. Moore.
Evening, Council. Doug Moore with DPW. Council, this was announced on Mitten on June 22nd after Council requested the program be bid again after the June 15th meeting. A mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on June 1st. Originally, bids were due on Tuesday, June 7th, but they were extended after the vendors requested more time, so we extended it to June 14th. Because that was going to miss the June 13th meeting, we moved it up one day. The bids were opened at 2 p.m. on the 13th. Guardian Environmental was the low bidder at $152,596. This pricing was $37,929 more than the extension pricing they offered to us in June. The extension price was quoted at $114,667, and that was taken from the Sandburg Library bid that was out in February and brought to Council in April. Guardian and Engineered Comfort Systems were the two bidders that bid on both of those, and Guardian was approximately $10,000 lower on the Sandburg bid than the second low bidder. The Bennett Library bid had minor changes to it compared to the extension request. The city had requested several small-scale items that did increase the pricing slightly. We'd like Council to approve the project at $152,596.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. I would like to bring to council's attention that the bid bond was not executed properly by the petitioner. It wasn't signed or witnessed.
Okay.
And which makes their bid invalid under normal circumstances, under law.
Okay. I don't know, honestly, what we do in that situation. Do you know if the bidder is?
Mr. Goldstein, could you, through the chair, could you?
Well, I'm a little blindsided. I can't answer you from right now. I'd have to look into it.
Okay. Council, any other comments on this one?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you. Aside from that, I know we approved in April for Sandburg. I believe it was April.
Yes.
And I know council was quick to approve, even though at that time I kind of requested a tabling because I wanted to look at the maintenance schedule, but that's fine. And, wanted to see if it was going to be warranted for this fiscal year. But I guess where I'm going with this, if we need to do Bennett, we already had that information. And now it's going to cost us an extra $37,000, which I'm just kind of sick about, that we went out to bid again even. So what I'm guessing happened is Guardian saw the other bids for Sandburg and knew that they could raise their price and still be the lowest. And now it's going to cost us an extra $37,000. So I guess where I'm going with this, when you brought us Bennett, it was because we were going to be able to get this great price, or what we thought was a great price at the time. How critical is this repair at this time? Does this need to happen in 2026?
The boiler project has been in the budget for a couple of years.
Okay.
And it was pushed off because of the millage last year.
Sure. So I guess, I was for it at 114,000, but at 152, I'm a little sick right now. So I guess that's why I'm asking how critical it is. And that, by pushing to go back out to bid, this is what we're stuck with. And I'm not sure how I feel about this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Moore, I know you've experienced a lot of bidding. Have you had it before where it was not signed and notarized?
No, and I'd have to talk to the purchasing manager,
Okay.
because he sent it all down to us.
Okay.
And I don't mean to push it off on him, but I'm looking at it now and I see it's not signed, but it's signed by everybody else, so.
Okay. Any other comments from council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. And to note that there were additional items added to this proposal. So I know that those items did add additional costs. Yeah, and I'm sure the petition, or the bidder probably just raised his price a little bit, I'm sure. So, but going to bid is, per ordinance, what we should be doing.
Right. Anything else from council? Ms. Persconi?
So, Director Moore, how critical is it right now with this? If we sat on it a little bit or maybe went out to bid at another time, would we be able to recoup some of this almost $40,000 extra dollars? Or is there any way we can try to not pay an extra almost $40,000?
I don't know. The risk of trying to put it out to bid again could just increase the price more. I mean, the low bidder has now seen two bids and seen the difference in price, could very easily say, oh, I left 10,000 on the table, and could raise it 5,000. I don't know.
Ms. Budzinski?
Yeah, for those who don't have the packet open, to give you a sense of the numbers, as noted in April, it was 114,000 with some tweaks to what the bid was that would make an adjustment. But right now, the lowest bid for Guardian is 152,596. Second bid, there's five, okay. The second closest to that is 199,941, so nearly 200,000. I'll just round up for ease. The next is 266,266 and $342,000. So I mean, we are talking significantly more than 114, but even the 152 with these alternative prices is still considerably less. So, I mean, first and foremost, I would like for us to get that pricing while we can, opposed to putting it back out there and getting another increase. So while apparently we need to address some of the paperwork issues, I'd like to offer an approving on regular so that we can get that situation sorted out and figure out what's going on. But I won't get on my library soapbox. I'll just get on we have facilities, we have responsibilities to maintain these buildings. DPW is trying to address them in real time when it's needed, not when the boiler breaks and we have damage to books because it's either too hot or too cold or other problems with the building, or even ability to open the facility. So I think it's important that we move forward with this project. I think, it's a good example of what it costs to maintain our buildings. And, hopefully we can get this Guardian paperwork situation settled so that we can just move forward.
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not against doing this at all. I actually agree that it probably needs to be done right now. Where I'm upset is that we had gone out to bid in April. We had the lowest prices. This is going to be the same thing. And we sent them out to bid again like a month later. Guardian saw that they probably left money on the table. And now we're going to have to pony up another almost 40 grand. Yes, there were some small tweaks. We're talking a couple $1,000s. We're not talking 40 grand. So, and yes, the next lowest is 200. I get that they're still significantly cheaper than the next lowest. But 40 grand is 40 grand. And that's, I guess, where it makes me sick to my stomach that this happened. But I do understand that it has to be done. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Persconi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I do think it would be remiss not to say, as the director of the Department of Public Works and the relationships that cities form with particular entities, sometimes, you know, the fact that Guardian or any particular company offers something like this, I think as a council, we need to be more mindful that sometimes it is okay not to go out to bid again and to make a decision, because we've done it before when other companies, and if I recall, one of the construction companies doing cement offered their extended rates at 2023 for 2026, and we took it because we knew if we went out to bid, we were going to be paying more for the same exact product. Well, we're right here, right now. We went out to bid, and we're going to pay more for the same exact product. So I just want to put that out there for my colleagues to be mindful of that. Sometimes I think moving forward, I will be opposed to going out to bid in these situations.
Thank you. And I do agree that you've done a lot of these, and we need to trust you on these. And I'm sorry you had to go through this again. Lesson learned. Any other comments from council? Ms. McDonald?
Question. On the Sandberg project, could we get a cost breakdown on where we are at on that project? Because I would think it would be completed by now.
On Sandberg?
Yes, yes.
We can request that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments from council? Right now, we have it going on the regular. Comments from the audience? Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Steve Kane, Country Gardens. Okay, Eileen is spot on. You have a procedure you have to follow. You have protocols. There are laws. There are rules. So you have to dot the I's, cross the T's. Secondly, the magic words, budgeted funds. Budgeted funds. We'll spend any amount of money as long as we say budgeted funds. $150,000 is outrageous. Not one of you knows a thing about boilers. Not one of you. I do. That's an outrageous price. This is a one-to-one. We're not improving. We're swapping one old boiler with another old boiler. That's what we're doing. High-temperature heat pumps, hybrid boiler systems, terminal unit retrofit. DTE has a program to do these things. The IRS has a grant program to replace boilers. Can you please stop just taking whatever comes before you, putting the big rubber stamp on it? Please. This is absurd. And why are you doing this without Brandon here? Brandon pulled this off the agenda. And this happened once before when he left. And you slammed something through. Did he sign off on all this stuff?
Mr. King?
Yeah.
He didn't even tell us he wasn't coming today. So.
He's playing hockey. He's overseeing, whatever. He's the one that pulled this off. You should wait till he comes back.
Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, Barbara Glover, Livonia, Michigan. As a library patron who frequents that particular library quite often, especially in the winter, I want my boiler to work. I don't want to get there one day and find out the boiler broke down and it didn't get fixed, it didn't get replaced because it got taken off of the agenda. So I'm sorry that we have to spend an extra $40,000. That is terrible, I do agree. But I think that it's the right thing to do to replace the boiler. We've got a bad track record in this city of not maintaining our buildings, and so this is an opportunity to maintain our library. The library does need other upgrades, but you know, this is at least very important. You can't run the library, you got to close it down if the boiler breaks. And there's a lot of people like me that go there in the winter and would like to be comfortable. We don't want to be cold. We want the building to be open. And so I support you approving this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, this will be, item number 9 will be on the regular agenda on August 17th.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Moving on to engineering, item number 10, this is a request to accept stormwater facilities maintenance agreement from Emerson Oaks, Livonia LLC, in conjunction with the construction of a storm drain system that provides adequate drainage for the Emerson Oaks condominium in the northwest quarter of Section 36.
Madam President, City Council members, again, this is a housekeeping issue. We finally come to the conclusion of the stormwater facility there at Emerson Oaks. They had cleaned the storm sewer system last year. We're just waiting for some minor issues that were to be resolved that have been completed. So now we're just looking to get this approved and get it recorded to Wayne County, which will take 2.5 months to get that done and then officially try to get this project closed out. Thank you.
Thank you. Council? Ms. Persconi?
Approving on consent.
Any comments from council? Comments from the audience? Item number 10 will be on the consent agenda on August 17th, 2026. Moving on to item number 11, request to accept stormwater facilities maintenance agreement from UAG Realty LLC in conjunction with the construction of a storm drain system that provides adequate drainage for Bill Brown Ford, Penske Automotive Group at 32400 Plymouth Road in the southwest quarter of Section 27. Council? Ms. Wazinski?
I mean, it's standard business. I'd offer an approving on consent if there's no objection.
Council, any comments? Comments from the audience? Item number 11 will be on the August 17th, 2026 consent agenda. Item number 12, request to accept stormwater facilities maintenance agreement from the Cornelia Group LLC in conjunction with the construction of a storm drain system that provides adequate drainage for the Penske Automotive Group at 27777 Schoolcraft Road in the northeast quarter of Section 25. Council, Mr. Brackway?
I'd like to offer approving on consent.
Comments from council? Comments from the audience? Item number 12 will be on the consent agenda on August 17th, 2026. Item number 13, award of contract for the Robert and Janet Bennett Civic Center Library ADA restroom renovations. Hustle, hustle, come on.
Just keep doing the consent thing. So,
Good evening.
Good evening, Dave Lair, the Assistant City Engineer with the City of Livonia.
Lindsay Fricky, Library Director.
We're bringing a long-needed project for your consideration, trying to upgrade some of the library bathrooms to ADA compliance. Back at the earlier this year, we went out for bids to create a ADA family-style bathroom in the lobby to meet the requirements of the ADA scope. The bids came back much less than we thought they were going to. So in order to try and use up the largest amount of the grant money money pledged by CBGB for housing, we went out to the low bidders again to try and get them to add on the women's bathroom to create fully ADA compliance on those. The minimum with the family one would meet the statute, but it wouldn't create an actual men's or women's ADA compliant. It would only just give a family style one. So with this version, with the additional work, we would be creating fully ADA compliance with the women's and a family style one. The men's is not able to be done with the money available because of the way the library is laid out. The men's is actually over an unexcavated portion of the building, so the additional work to get the plumbing, electrical, and things into that area, as well as create the larger footprint to be needed, would basically put us well over the money that housing has available for us to spend on this. So we went out to the two low bidders that were very close on the original one, had them submit bids for the additional work. CNS Construction Management came back with a total of $304,123. Decima LLC was the other bidder that came back with a $337,000 bid. What we're asking for is the council to approve a contract for both CNS Construction Management for the $304,123, as well as to DLZ Incorporated, the architect on the project, for an additional $29,500 for the construction management and overseeing of the project, for a total of $333,623.
Thank you. Ms. Fricky, did you want to add anything?
Dave covered it great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Council? Ms. Wazinski?
Yeah, excited that this is moving forward, that we're able to, expand the footprint of the project. For clarity in the construction drawings, it seemed to say that maybe there's an adult changing table. Is it in both of the new ones, or just in the family style?
The family changing table will only be in the family bathroom. That is where the coat closet or so is right now. So there won't be a changing table in the women's. It'll just be in the family style.
Okay, and will it be for infants or adults? Do we know?
For adults.
Adults. And so infant ones would be in either of those, or do we know?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I know we have one already But yeah, we could look into that.
I mean, I would just say, I think it's important. I think if we are capable of having both, I think it's a good idea, because I think we have users that could benefit either way. You know, a library is a spot where you can spend an entire day. It's a free activity. It's a workspace. It's, you know, it attracts a lot of different people with a lot of different needs. And if we're able to meet those needs conveniently, you know, I'd like to see, you know, where we're at on that. So,
Okay, we can get with the architect and clarify that for you.
yeah, if you don't mind. You know, you mentioned the cost, obviously going with the lower bidder. Outside of that, was there a timeline you guys have for this project?
So because of the, where these bathrooms are located, we're looking at being able to get this project finished. We're saying by the end of the year, but we're actually looking probably before Thanksgiving time.
Okay.
And it would be a minimum disturbance, we'll say, to the library, where the library will be able to stay open the entire time. Just some of the meeting rooms off to the side would be blocked off while they do the construction and come in from the side doors.
Okay, great. You know, I would like the information about the changing tables, so if we could do an approving on regular, no, that would be my recommendation.
Thank you. Any other comments from
Madam
council?
Chair?
Ms. Tashnik?
Just for clarification, to Mrs. Budzinski, are you asking for them in both?
I mean,
Because I can see them in the women's and the plans, but I'm just,
well, it sounds like we have an adult changing table in the family, and then not a child one, and I'm just saying.
I'm
if
okay
it-
with that. I just want to
If
make
it's
sure we're clear what
possible,
we're
right,
asking.
yeah, if it's possible to have a baby one in the family one as well, I mean, I think it just kind of serves a lot of purposes. I mean, because again, for the baby changing table in a family, you mentioned how the men's room is gonna remain the same. You know, there's families with different genders, or there's dads and there's moms, and, you know, just to allow a singular space that could really hit the bucket for every population, I think would be ideal if we're making this investment. Again, I know it is a set space as is, you know, but if it's possible, I'd like to just see if we could do it.
I thought that's what you were asking, but I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience on this item? All right, item number 13 will be on the regular agenda on August 17th, 2026. Thank you both for staying so late. Any closing audience communication that did not speak at the beginning of the meeting? Okay, any closing comments from council? I just would like to say something, actually. This is, and I'm only speaking for myself here, we are trying our best. This is not a part-time job. I know it's advertised as a part-time job, but I'm going to ask residents to stop being so mean to each other, to stop yelling at us when you come up here, and to just calm down for just a little bit. We're trying to get a handle on things. We had a crazy year last year. Majority of us inherited a lot of stuff that we're trying to fix. So when you're coming up to these podiums, be considerate of each other, and please stop yelling at us, okay? Anyways, good night.